Mr. President, this week the House Committee on Energy and Commerce is considering a package of bills aimed at protecting children on social media. For years, children and families across the country have been suffering from the mental health crisis precipitated by social media platforms, and it's well past time that Congress act. But I want to make one thing clear. This is not a question of retooling the settings or empowering users. We know from scientific research and data, as well as anecdotal evidence from every parent, teacher, or kid, that this is too big of a challenge to be solved by tinkering around the edges. Tech companies have specifically designed their platforms to hijack the frontal lobes of impressionable children and feed them a never-ending stream of content that keeps them scrolling for hours. That's not simply going to be undone by more algorithmic choice or more conversations between parents and children at the dinner table. Parents are asking for a very simple thing from their government, because these things are literally built in a lab to hijack a kid's frontal lobe before they are fully formed. And their profit motive, we all know this, the longer they linger, the more eyeballs, the more revenue, the more money, the more profitability. And so the more they addict your kid, the more money they make. And these things are more powerful than a 14-year-old's brain. They just are. And so the question in front of us is not to mandate that when you go into your social media account and you're 12 or you're 15, that you have the ability to tweak the algorithm. They're not going to do it. Maybe 1%, 2%, some kid at, some fancy pants kid of a professor or a Silicon Valley magnate is going to be no phones and blah, blah, blah. But the rest of us need some help from our government to protect these children. And that's why Senator Cruz and I and many others have developed the Kids Off of Social Media Act. There is no good reason for an 8 or a 9-year-old to be on Instagram or Snapchat, and unless companies are mandated by law to enforce some basic rules and stop profiting off of children, they will continue padding their bottom lines. The Kids Off Social Media Act is not some intensely complicated piece of legislation. That's the problem in the Commerce Committee and the Energy and Commerce Committee on the House side. Everybody, so many smart lawyers and staffers going back and forth and doing 500-page bills and tweak this and tweak that and causes of action, all the rest. This is what this bill does. Minimum age threshold for children to get on social media, okay? And then if you are still a minor but permitted to get on social media, so from the ages of 13 to 18, algorithmic browsing is banned. So it's like the old Facebook, where it's just your friends. It's like a big group chat. I made a cupcake. Look how cute my dog is. This is a sunset. I had a wipeout surfing. Whatever. Fun, useless, but not damaging. And I promise you, parents across the country, left, right, and center, Ted Cruz and I have a hard time finding areas of agreement. And I like Ted. Katie Britt and I have a hard time finding areas of agreement. And yet, parents across the political spectrum, across geography, believe that the way to protect kids is to simply delay the onset of the use of social media, which we have a perfect right to do under statutory law, and then for those minors who are on social media to turn off the algorithm. And that's what we should pass. Some of those House bills are constructive moves in the right direction, but they are nibbling around the edges. And when we send something to the president's desk, it cannot be nibbling around the edges. This is not just a mental health crisis, and it is. It is a societal emergency. I yield the floor.